It's kind of scripted. Hey, it's kind of scripted. Happy Sunday afternoon, everybody. Friends, family, people from all over. Thank you so much for taking the time to come to this live virtual event, right? We got an exciting day, for you. We have an exciting day for you, but, I just want you to know that the time is now. All right, I'm gonna read. So kind of scripted, it's about my process, right? The life is kind of scripted, right? But with that being said, kind of scripted is about my journal, all right? So ever since I started journaling, that's when my life started to change in a direction for the better. And so kind of scripted, as you know, it's, on social media, everything's a highlight reel, right? Everything's a highlight reel. So the purpose of kind of scripted is to allow people to see a behind-the-scenes journey of my process, my mindset, as we navigate this earth to create our heaven on earth, right? And so, with that being said, I'm gonna get right into it because my journal today was one that was a little long, right? But it's one that's full of passion and one that's full of purpose, okay? And so my journal always starts with a quote from somewhere. I like to study the good book. And so today, it came from Genesis 15, right? Genesis 15. And what it said was, then the Lord took Abram outside and said to him, look up into the sky and count the stars if you can. That's how many descendants you will have. And Abram believed the Lord, and the Lord counted him as righteous because of his faith. Right? As the sun goes down, Abram fell into a deep sleep, and a terrifying darkness came down over him. Then the Lord said to Abram, you can be sure that your descendants will be strangers in a foreign land. Then the Lord said to Abram, let me run that back. You can be sure that your descendants will be strangers in America, right? Where they will be oppressed as slaves for 400 years. But I will punish the nation that enslaved them, and in the end, they will come away with great wealth. That's not my words. That came from Genesis 15, 12 through 14. So understand, we are God's chosen people. Let's not get it twisted. We are God's chosen people. Whether you believe it or not has nothing to do with me, because if you saw in the reading, it said, right? The Lord counted him as righteous because of his faith. So if I could make a suggestion, it would be to believe. Right? But that has nothing to do with me. My prayer, right, is that our Creator opens your ears so you can hear that we are his children and the chosen people, right? The reading says that after 400 years of oppression, God is going to give his chosen people great wealth, right? Because like in Monopoly, it takes capital to live in this land that God gave us. Right? In this land God gave us, it takes knowing the rules of the system so we can use the land to make our dreams a reality. Hey, black people, black folks, I'm here to tell you, right, that you did make America a place where God can show up and show out. Because of your work, black woman, black man, because of your work, your oppression, your blood, your sweat, your tears, America became a free market system that's run off of capital. If you have capital and know how it really works, right, you can build a kingdom that resembles your heaven on earth, right? You can live this one life, living and doing God's work, not just getting by. You have to understand and believe, right, that we are God's people in our promised land. Let's realign our focus from asking the oppressor to be nice to us, right, and get wisdom on what we already have in our hands. Right? When we focus on what we can do, we'll realize that God really gave his people everything they need to live and be in the land of the milk and honey. Right? Carol, if we truly understand, right? If we truly understand that truly it's only for those who believe, right? But no, it's yours if you believe and seek to understand how to utilize it. Right? And so when God gave your ancestors the earth, he didn't give them the pyramid. Understand that, right? They took the wisdom and the resources that God gave them, right? Gave them in their land, and they went and built and created pyramids and kingdoms. Do you understand? We have the resources. We just need the right information so we know what to do with the resources we have available to us. right? With the resources we have now, it doesn't matter your color, age, gender, ethnicity, you can execute and make your dreams a reality here in America. This is the America we built. Understand that. We need to learn how to work the America we built. How do we do that? Through self-development, through leadership development, through financial literacy. Dr. King says, right, it starts with an economic base. How dare you tell a man to pull himself up by his bootstraps, yet he's a bootless man, right? Minister Farrakhan says it's about power. People organized and working for economic rebirth. Do you understand? The reading said God was going to give his people coming out of bondage wealth. We're so righteous and holy that we go around here talking about we don't need money. Yes, you do. In the promised land that God gave us, it takes money to operate it. It takes capital to operate it. God told us in Genesis 15, verse 14, that God's people will come away with great wealth. We need to be looking to accumulate, protect, and transfer wealth, everybody. Right? And so then we need to use that wealth to create a lifestyle that is of our dreams. We don't have to die to experience peace. We don't have to die to experience happiness. We don't have to die to experience joy and abundance. We can do that here on earth if we dare to dream and do God's work. We're here to execute in our promised land, everybody. Rachel, as God's children and chosen people, we are here to execute in our promised land. And our first responsibility in this promised land is to go bear fruit in our land and multiply that fruit in our land. As we dream, we need to see ourselves in abundance with nice things. It's not about the nice things. It's about transferring belief and the baton to the next generation. And then let it be known, these kids coming up behind us, they're attracted to nice things. As so you are probably too, right? And so we must have a desire to influence and have an influence on the next generation, right? Because in a way, when they commit, right? When they commit at an early age to doing God's work, right? It's easier to build up strong kids than it is to repair broken adults. We've heard this before. So we've got to get the attention of the next generation, because it's about passing the baton. This is how we get bigger, stronger, faster as a people in our promised land. These kids need to see us dreaming and being bossed up. But more importantly, they need to see us doing the work to make that dream a reality. They need to see us be able to have faith, right? To believe in something that's unseen. And they need to be able to see us with that faith go do what's required and what's necessary to make that dream a reality, to manifest miracles right before their eyes. Because I tell you, in one of them Johns, right? In one of them Johns, Jesus said, right? In the reading said, right? Jesus said, if you truly believe, you'll do the same great works I did or even more. We only live once. And we get what we ask for. We need to first start by dreaming bigger. Ask God for more, because we are the chosen people. With the systems that are currently in place, it does not matter your color, age, gender, ethnicity. We can get busy. So black woman, black man, you can get busy. You can have, you can be, you can live in your dream, because we are God's chosen people living in the promised land that we built. When we get our mind and spirit back, because what's happened is they've taken our mind and our spirit. When we get our mind and our spirit back, right, we can dig into the reality of the system and the actual rules of the system that we created. And we can realize, right, we start to realize that there's a reason why people from all over the world come to America. It's because y'all have made a system, black woman, black man, to where it doesn't matter your color, age, gender, ethnicity, you can get busy in it if you know the rules. Man, we have the resources. We have the wisdom and the information. We got to get busy. We got to stop asking for permission in our land and go get busy. We need to take a pride of ownership, right, of our promised land and go do what we need to do to create a legacy, protect a legacy, transfer a legacy. That's what it's about. Anything less, we're a detriment to ourselves. We're a detriment to ourselves. We have what we need. We are the chosen people. If you bleed, they keep us so occupied on focusing on, hey, treat us better and fighting for social injustice. We have to do that, right? But I'm not asking for nobody's permission. I could give two if they like me or not, right? Because I recognize that I'm in the promised land, and regardless of who they are, right, I know that the rules and the system is set up for me to bear fruit and multiply and create a kingdom that's bigger, stronger, faster for my family and for the generations coming after my family. Anything less is unacceptable, and we will not settle for anything less. So it's either you're on or you're not, because we have to understand, right? And we recognize, so the reading said, right, in Genesis 15:16, the reading said, after 4 generations, your descendants will return to this land. Meaning, we recognize Juneteenth, June 19th, 1865, as the day we escaped bondage, right? But understand that Dr. King was we escaped bondage in 1865, but it was in the 1960s where Dr. King was talking about, I have a dream. Right? It was in the 60s where, Dr. King was talking about 2 Americas. It's in the 60s where Dr. King is talking about we're a bootless people. Understand that in the 90s, Tupac said, right, we're dying out here. You're going to tell me in the 90s they had multiple streams of oppression, right? There's reasons for this, but they had multiple streams of oppression in the 90s. But we survived. We are the survival of the fittest. We are God's people in our promised land. We got to get busy and believe it. And if it's make it happen or die trying. If you're not with it, go sit out so you don't get in our way. We don't have time. We don't have time. We need to learn how to farm in our promised land. Everything that we desire is on the other side of executing in the right wisdom. So let's shift our conversation and practical wisdom. Let's shift our conversation to practical wisdom so we can farm our promised land. We can farm our promised land. That's kind of scripted.